What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Mortgage Coach Trust Engine interview with Ryan Kiefer. Ryan, it's been way too long, brother. I mean, it's been years since I interviewed you and we created a piece of content like this.
Yeah, I think it's been a while, but I'm sort of like back to being a long time listener, first time caller here, because I'm always watching everybody else and picking up some great tips.
Well, I follow you all the time. Ryan is a absolute true blue mortgage coach. He gives advice to consumers, and then he leads and manages a lot of loan officers. I don't know what you're doing now, but we'll talk about that. What brought this interview on is I also follow him. He's on the American Dream and has been a American Dream guy for like a long time. I mean, it seems
5 years now,
maybe I was
maybe
going to
almost
say
6.
5 years. You've been on the American Dream. Shout out to Craig Sewing and the American Dream. But you've really gone to a whole new level of what I call edutainment, where you're educating consumers, you're educating realtors, but you're doing it in a way that's entertaining. And, we're going to talk about a couple of YouTube videos that Ryan has created recently where he's solving problems for home buyers and realtors in the market right now. And he's doing it in a way where he's recruiting realtors as well. So Ryan, why don't you just, tell everybody, a little bit about yourself, and then let's get into the strategy at hand, how you're creating confidence and in a way that's a competitive advantage.
Yeah, so I'm a producing branch manager at First Community Mortgage here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Been in the mortgage business, oh gosh, next month, I hate to admit this, 26 years next month, August of 97 I got in. So, we've been through a few of these cycles before. This one certainly has some unique challenges. I was joking with my team yesterday. It's like, as Dan Rawich likes to say, we're sort of like the morticians of the economy, meaning like, when we get some bad economic news or when purchases slow down, we usually have refis to kind of keep us propped up a little bit, so to speak. But right now it's a little bit unique, of course, preaching to the choir here that the refis are, slowed way down. And with purchases, most of us have a ton of buyers, but just not enough inventory, right? So the golden question becomes, how do we manufacture or create some incremental inventory out there?
Yeah, I interviewed Ryan Grant on this Tuesday, and he said, the name of the game right now is just getting people motivated enough. And there's going to be a video we're going to release in a few days, and it's called he came with a TCA and he called it my can, should, must TCA. And I was kind of like, okay, what does that mean? And he goes, well, we'll qualify people and they can buy a home, but now we got to get them to should, and really, if they're going to get into escrow and make a winning offer in this market, must. I got to get them from can to I must buy a home and I must buy it now. Or if it's someone who's thinking about moving up, I got to get them from I could to I must. And so I was like, that was good, brother.
Yeah, I like that.
You like that?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah. So tell us what you're doing specifically, in the market, and then let's break it down, because I want everybody in the community to know about it.
Yeah, so what we're doing, might not be all that unusual or different versus what a lot of, folks are doing out there, trying to do right now. So, number one, we're trying to, take buyers beyond a normal pre-qualification or pre-approval, right? We're taking them and getting them fully approved. I know different lenders have different branding that they put on that. Here at FCM, we call it our green light approval process. So really taking somebody all the way through underwriting to where all we need is a purchase contract and an appraisal, and then we're ready to close, right? So, and then what we do then is we call the listing agent when our clients write an offer, and we offer to close in as little as 21 days. And if we don't, we've got a $5,000 guarantee to the seller, if we miss the closing date. So we're pairing that with an appraisal gap strategy, because in Cincinnati, go figure, we're tied for first place, hottest real estate market in the country in terms of days on market. And, it's kind of a head scratcher. We're tied with Kansas City and Columbus. It's a 3-way tie, 3 days on market right now is our median. So a lot of homes, I think it's north of 55% right now, homes locally are going over list price. So multiple offers, it's right around an average of 4 offers per property. So appraisal gap, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's very much alive and well here locally. So those are the 2 big things that we're doing. And, we can get into and talk about a little bit about sort of an advanced appraisal gap strategy. I know a lot of folks are doing that already, but that is something that not a lot of people are doing locally in Cincinnati. I'd say less than 10% of the agents and loan officers have caught on to that. So we're using that to our advantage and really helping our clients win.
So here's what I want to say. So if you're in a market where it's hot, and I think you said 4 offers per property, and there are a lot of markets in America. Like, this is not, I think it's the majority of markets in America. But I don't think it's 90% of markets in America. But regardless of whether it's hot, and what he's going to share next is hot today, trust me, when rates start going down, and they will, might not be till early next year, but when they get in the 5s, this will be a hot topic in every market. And what Ryan's going to show you right now is it's hot right now in markets. And then my other thing I want to say is, when you can be the first one to share this with a real estate agent, or you can be the one that shared this with a real estate agent with the most clarity and value for them, that's how you recruit realtors. So like, this is a, kind of like hot opportunity to be the first one to bring it to the realtors in your market. And then I've already seen some of Ryan's videos. This will be a great chance for you guys to upgrade how you're doing it and how you're scaling it. Like, I want to talk about it. So why don't you kind of break down what you're doing on a one-on-one standpoint, and then let's talk about how you're taking it one to many with edutaining videos.
Yeah. Do you want me to do a screen share with the
Sure.
TCA? Not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you share this TCA, tell us the consumer story. Like, hey, this was the consumer, this was their problem, this is where their head was at, this is what I did, and this is how it's driving results.
Absolutely. So what we have here, can you see that here, Dave?
We see it perfectly, bro.
All right, perfect. So we've got, this is real world. This was just last Friday. Had some clients. We did have them green light approved, fully approved. First time home buyers. It's funny. One of the things we're seeing is first time buyers are sort of going above and beyond what we might normally see for a purchase price. Here locally in Cincinnati, our average home price is only about $275,000. We're definitely a lot lower than the national average, which I think is driving a lot of net immigration here because of, people still able to work from home as a result of COVID, that type of thing. So anyway, we got some first time buyers here. I've removed the names to protect the innocent, of course, but this was a $379,000 home list price. They went in a $405,000 offer. So going about 26 grand above list. And, at the end of the day, we're still in an expectation business, right? So it's, it's more imperative than ever to set proper expectations up front. So what I did is I talked to them about, hey, that's great that you're prepared to go over list price, because that's probably what it's going to take to win in this market, right? And I talked to them and said, hey, have you thought about writing an appraisal gap into the purchase contract? And they said, no. What does that all equal to? And so I explained to them, I said, listen, 90% of the time, as long as we're not going crazy on our offer price, 90% of the time, appraisal is going to come back fine. Let's pretend it's part of the 10% of the time where it doesn't. Appraisal gap usually just means you coughing up that extra money at closing. In this case, $26,000 delta, right? Between the 405 offer price, 379 list. But, they're first time buyers. They just had 10% to put down plus closing costs. They don't have an extra 26,000 to put down. And I knew that going in. And so I explained to them how, hey, just by tweaking your loan amount a little bit, because the loan is based on the appraised value or the purchase price, whichever is less. I said, we can just do some tweaks to your loan behind the scenes. Doesn't change your cash to close at all, but it'll change your monthly payment slightly just because the mortgage insurance is going to go up a little bit, depending on the amount of gap with the appraisal. And I said, the good news is, of course, you can get rid of that mortgage insurance in a few years based on a higher appraised value and also paying the loan balance down. So anyway, take a quick look here at the TCA. So first column, we've got, the $405,000 purchase price with 10% down, assuming the appraisal comes in fine. Hey, here's what you're looking at, 7 1/8 under 8 monthly payment, all in $2,910. That's with taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance. And then the second column is, basically what if, the appraisal comes in $20K short. So a $20,000 appraisal gap that basically moves this from a 90% loan to value to a 95% loan to value behind the scenes, right? So you see what happens to the payment goes up a whopping $15 a month. the higher MI, because luckily we had 780 plus credit scores here and we have multiple borrowers. So our MI is pretty cheap. So 2925 versus 2910. And then finally, the last column here, with them being first-time buyers, we're able to go to 97% on a conventional loan. So we can do an entire appraisal gap and cover all the way up to 30,000. We actually can cover more than the difference between the offer price and the list price. And you see there, that takes the monthly up to 2955 versus 2910. But most importantly, cash to close on all these options staying the same. They don't have to bring a dime more to closing. So they were perfectly fine with this. They're like, hey, we get it. This is awesome. And so what we did, we, educated the realtor on it, their agent, advised her, hey, let's go ahead and write this at 405. Write in a $26,000 appraisal gap. We're going to cover the difference between, again, offer price and list price. We offered to close in 21 days because they were already fully approved. And I called the listing agent and let them know all this. And there were actually, I think there were 8 offers on this property, and we did win, which I was a little bit pleasantly surprised, because they didn't have to go higher than that on the price. But did hear from the listing agent that those were both big factors. The fact that we were fully approved, could close in 21 days, and the fact that, the sellers weren't going to have to worry about a low appraisal becoming a point of renegotiation and trying to, beat them down on the price.
Yeah, they had clarity and confidence. You made it,
Yes.
Visual. Ryan's going to share this TCA so you guys can click on the more information tab and really kind of get into the weeds with
there's your mortgage insurance there. If you can see that, there's your difference. Everything else stays the same. So I'll send the link over if people want to get in there and mess around.
You can click on the closing cost tab and really get into the weeds on how he structured this and where the nuances are in the structure. So cool on that. Also, if you need any training on how to put these together, every Wednesday at 11, every Thursday at 9, we are doing a training. If you go to the Mortgage Coach website, I'm sure we are doing more appraisal gap. Also, I hear a couple of the top strategies in the market are cost of waiting, be able to really make a case that, do you want to wait till rates get to 5? Because, it's going to be even more competitive as rates get to 5 and on the way down. And you can date the rate and marry the house. Like, hey, you can lock in your rate at 7% and you're likely to have that for, a year or no more than 2. And you can show them that. That's a really common TCA that we do training on both Wednesdays and Thursdays. So anything else you want to share on this before we pivot to, because to me, I think a lot of people know how to do this and we've trained a lot of people on it, but how you're going one to many, how you're creating video content, how you're actually training your loan officers, because I think every producing branch manager should be an expert at this. And then you should know how to train your people. So how are you going one to many and how are you training?
So we've got, we do some live trainings like this with our team. And then of course we have the videos I think you shared already. We'll probably share again the training videos. We've got the, 2-minute video on appraisal gap strategy that's got some nice automation in it with,
let's show that real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know. I have it on my screen. We'll put a link to this, everyone, but just to, show my screen. I'm not going to necessarily play the whole video, but Ryan, put some sizzle on these. This
hey everybody,
is the
Ryan
move up
Kiefer
buyer
here
strategy.
again. Welcome back to another edition of Level Up, brought to you by and Create. Of course,
he's creating some content.
Move up into a new home, buy that.
Selling some emotion.
The average rate right
showing
now is
some, keeping current
golden
matters
figure of
slides.
weight, because the others move up now. In this example, we're going to not only take the equity
total
in the
cost
current
analysis,
house, move up to the $600,000
really
house,
helping
purchase
show
that house.
consumers
on a car loan is about
how to make decisions. So I love this content that you're creating.
And we've got a cost of waiting in there. If you look at the wait 4 years, we're trying to cover it all.
Hey, will you get the TCA on this one over to me as well?
Absolutely.
Share that right afterwards and I'll get that. And then he's also got this appraisal gap. This is the appraisal gap one. And, first of all, how long does it take you to make these videos? What's involved in that?
So admittedly with the videos here, so that is, local production company. I do some stuff with the local CBS affiliate. Local 12 is the station here, do a news segment once a week and then have a TV show since he's hot as property. So they did these training videos as kind of a favor, but I wouldn't let that intimidate anyone else because, of course, you know, you can do your own kind of thing. It doesn't have to be that glammed up or fancy. But they were kind enough to produce those videos, and they do a really good job of, you know, as you saw there, zooming in and circling different things that I'm talking about, because I was really just in the studio just riffing on that stuff from memory. I didn't have anything in front of me. I just, you know, I knew the TCAs pretty much cold and just went in and started talking about them. And yeah, but you know, what's great about that is not only we share that with our team and with all of FCM, what I've also done kind of shamelessly is I've sent those out to some of my top referral partners, realtors locally, and just said, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this as a training tool? And they're all like, this is fantastic. Do you mind if I forward this to clients? Not at all. Go for it. You know, of course.
Well, I think there's a lot of ways to win, guys. And I would love to see more mortgage coaches creating content where you're inspiring and you're educating your clients that, you know, I can help you get clarity and confidence with your home buyers better than any other mortgage professional that I compete with, because I'm a mortgage coach. You know, I am not just giving a fee worksheet. I'm helping families understand their options. You know, this content could have been created with Zoom. You know, like I'm this call right now is on Zoom. I'm broadcasting it live in our Facebook group. You know, I'm going to take it afterwards, put it into our YouTube channel. I could hand this off to an editor and have them turn this, you know, I don't know if it's going to be 20 minutes, 25-minute interview into like a 3-minute sizzle reel. So I can't wait to see all the mortgage coach communities, and team members doing that. So, what kind of results are you getting when you're sharing this with folks?
You know, it's great results so far, because not only are we taking it a step further and we're trying to help the agents, you know, win, because let's face it, they're all fighting over, you know, limited amount of listings. I know in just for Cincinnati, we have 7,000 agents and 1,200 listings. So put a pin in that. You have, you know, 6 agents for every 1 listing out there. So it's tough right now. So the more we can do to help our partners, you know, not only win, but create incremental business. The other big thing we're doing right now is we're starting to talk a lot about move-up buyers. And I can't remember if it was Josh Metal or who was it that said it on one of the, you know, the recent videos or Scriptapalooza, but I love the term equity conversion strategy. I've been using that one a lot. And I'm talking about, hey, you don't necessarily have to take all the money that you have an equity on a current place and put it down on a new house. You know, we have record amounts of car loans, car payments, credit cards. Let's limit the payment shock by taking some of that money and cleaning up the other debts. So we're having a lot of those conversations. I had a really good breakfast with an agent yesterday that I mentioned that to, because that's everybody's struggle, right? We need those move up buyers. We need that first penguin in the water, so to speak, to help create that domino effect, because that will create inventory for the first time buyers and kind of get everything moving again. But, you know, of course, we have the golden handcuffs or the, you know, house hostage or whatever, with people, you know, sitting there with their 3 and 4% rates and not wanting to move. So what I'm offering to folks is, hey, I'm willing to make proactive calls to your database. So with this particular agent, we started talking about HomeBot. He's already using HomeBot, has offered to turn me loose and marry me up with his entire database. He's also giving me a login to his CRM and all 2,000 plus past clients of his, and said, you call anybody you want and talk to him about move up buyers. You know, so and he said this, and I quote, you know, I work with a couple other loan officers. Not once in all my years in this business has anyone else offered to do this, to help me create incremental sales, and is bringing this kind of value. So, you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You just have to go out there. You know, the fortune is in the follow-up, as they say. And, you know, you just got to be willing to get your hands dirty and get in the trenches with your referral partners and help create some business.
Yeah, I love that. And part of, you know, this whole call, it's like how to bring that clarity to drive urgency and get, whether it's a move up buyer to move up. Sometimes that's they're going to rent out the current house and move up. Sometimes that they're going to sell the home, even though it has a low interest rate, and move up. You need to be able to master this. And then how do you do this in a way that you're actually recruiting realtors? I'm going to play a little 50-second clip from an interview I did with a top producer, Shay Jenkins. I've been playing this a lot. So for anyone that's already seen this a few times,
I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah. This is a reminder for those
Yep.
of you that have seen it, because it's an important reminder. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this, if you just follow what we're doing here, you will recruit an extra realtor. You just, every 10 TCAs, you're going to get 1 extra loan. And if you loop in the agent and you do it in a smart way, the way Shay is going to talk about right now, you're going to recruit realtors. And by the way, Shay was only in her second year last year, and she did 53 million last year in Denver.
Wow.
So let's check this out real quick.
I was going after this huge, one of the top agents in Denver. And I had been trying since I was an assistant, I had been trying to get this person. And finally the poor girl gave me a break and was like, Lord, like, here you go, take this one lead. And I took the lead and I did a mortgage coach. And I was just like, you know what, why not? I'm going to CC the agent on here. And then that's when the agent picked up the call and she's like, are you serious? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, what, mortgage coach? And I was like, you're the top agent. You've never seen this before? And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, would you be able to do this with all my buyers? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's so cool. And again, in her head, I think she was thinking, I'm up all night creating this massive presentation with all these numbers and graphs. And I got her business and she's one of my top agents now.
So guys, everybody here could do exactly what Shay's doing, and Ryan's showing them. So, Ryan, I've been doing a lot of what I call speed to need training. And, there's more TCAs than this. I mean, obviously rate and term refi TCA is not a hot one right now. Hopefully rates get in the 5s and this one perkles up. But, this is what I'm hearing are the top strategies. Now, I do think in your market, it sounds like one of your top 3 strategies is the appraisal gap, right?
Yes.
So what about rent versus own and cost of waiting? What would you say are your hottest TCAs in your market right now?
Rate shoppers, certainly, because it is uber competitive. So we're doing a bit of that and just showing, trying to show 2 or 3 different strategies or options, because psychologically most people want 2 or 3 options. So if you only give them one, if you're just giving them a 0.30 or fix and hoping for the best, good luck to you. You better give them options. And, really, I think I got this from Jeremy Forcier. We don't talk about points. I'll simply just say, hey, here's a lower cost, higher rate option. Here's a higher cost, lower rate option. And we'll talk through how and why that could make some sense. If you think you're going to refi in a year or 2, maybe you want to, of course, take the lower cost. Don't pay points for, a loan you're not going to keep, et cetera. So it varies. If there's MI involved, you might talk about lender paid versus monthly, all that sort of thing. But definitely using Mortgage Coach, every time, just because of that wow factor, number 1, and number 2, just the clarity that it offers and the education, et cetera.
Love it. And by the way, while you were talking just now, I updated this slide and, I put the appraisal gap strategy over here. So here's my challenge. First of all, every branch manager, make sure in your market, what the top 3 strategies are, and then make sure you're doing some training on that. That's why I'm doing this Mortgage Coach 10X training, every Tuesday at 9 o'clock for the entire community. I'm going to pick a strategy and I'm going to bring in top producing loan officers for scripting and sales strategy. We're going to have a trainer, or I'll do the training, or I'll play some training video during the call, and we're going to train you. And for a lot of enterprise clients, I've been, I'm doing this for them. But guys, it's more important than ever that you know how to do a rent versus own, because there's a lot of first-time home buyers in every market. It's more important than ever. You're able to help agents get listings. Like Jeremy in one of our speed to need trainings did the buy before you sell TCA. You need to do the rent out your current home, buy a new one. You need to do all these things in today's market more than ever. So any closing thoughts, bro, before we wrap this up?
No, I would say, just make sure that you're, picking up the phone, touching base with your current, and this might sound like, mortgage 101, but, I was guilty of this a few months ago, just staying in touch with current referral partners. Don't assume that they know these things already, like appraisal gap strategy, and go after new referral partners. We always have to be top grading and upgrading because, right now in this market, as I like to joke, you have to kiss a lot more frogs to find the same amount of princes, that we had a couple of years ago in terms of, agents and their productivity. But, locally, we've been implementing a lot of Todd Duncan And so, making outbound calls and talking about, hey, let's sit down for 15, 20 minutes. I can show you how to close an extra 2 to 3 deals over the next 90 days, an extra 4 to 5 deals over the next year. And it's, when we sit down, it's because of green light approval, appraisal gap strategy, all the things we've been talking about, right? And the other big one right now, the same realtor I was talking about earlier with HomeBot that I just had breakfast with yesterday, another big offer that I'm offering that they're not hearing from anyone else is the lost leads conversation. And that's an easy one, right? So you just walk them through, hey, you closed 50 deals last year. How many people do you think you had to talk to get those 50 deals? Pretend it's 150, right? They're converting a third. Well, out of those 100 people, what if I could help you convert 2 or 3 of those into new deals this year? Well, that would be great. How can you do that? Okay, what I want to do, and this gives you permission to follow up with them once a week for the next however many weeks. I usually do it for 12 weeks. I'm going to follow up with you once a week. I want you to give me names and numbers, emails of everyone you've talked to in the last week that is not 100% committed to using you. It can be a buyer, it can be a seller, it can be a renter, whatever. But I'm going to talk to them and maybe just give them a different angle. Maybe they have cold feet because, they're a first-time buyer and they're just nervous. Maybe it's a move-up buyer that doesn't think it's the best time. They're waiting for rates to come down, whatever it might be. And of course, we're not over-promising, the world, but if we can just convert a couple of those into new deals for them, everybody's a winner. And again, the feedback on that kind of thing continues to be, wow, I've never heard this from a loan officer before. You're bringing me more value than anyone else. And you're not just asking me for deals. You're helping me create more deals and it's not costing me a dime. So that's a big one right now.
Love it. Well, as I give some closing thoughts, I want to remind everybody that savageinsights.com is updated every single day. The first couple links are always whatever I'm doing next. So later today, I am doing a how to get one more loan and one more realtor per month. And I'm having 2 heads of productions, two leaders that, run companies that have one, I think it's 400 loan officers, another 1,000. We're going to talk about that. I've got to sign up for our big event with Michael Frantoni, the chief economist for the MBA, Rob Chrisman, and the chief economist for Closing Court, or not Closing Court, but CoreLogix. I'm doing speed to need training book. If you click on that link, that'll take you to this speed to need training. And I'm going to put Ryan in here. One of these chapters is going to be Ryan's appraisal gap. And then, all the things that I think are the most valuable, like right now, this week, I think if you haven't watched this interview with Jeremy, his 6 loan now strategies, you're missing out. If you haven't, I still have Scriptapalooza up because it's still, possibly the most valuable call we've done all year with the taking action notes. And then of course, there you go.
This right here is part of that Scriptapalooza. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Phil in there.
And then I always have a couple links for executives that want to get a strategy session, loan officers that just want to sign up, reminders on all the different channels that we have. And then last and certainly not least, make sure you signed up for my text mobile club, Savage Insights. And a couple times a week, I send out a message that helps train you to become an elite mortgage advisor. All right, brother. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. You taught a couple of great ideas. Really appreciate you, my man. Please share some success stories of what you're doing with your loan officers. Also, anytime you create one-to-many content that is a speed to need strategy, where you're adding value in the market and you put it on YouTube, share that in our Facebook group anytime and all the time, man.
Yeah. Hey, a quick shout out to you for the Savage Insights. You going over that just now reminded me of what a great idea that has been, because, I'm probably guilty of this like a lot of people out there. We're all in sales, we're all ADD. And, I see these interviews you're getting ready to do, and I intend to get on and watch it live on Facebook, but the day gets away from me or I get busy or, got something else booked at the time, whatever. But I love the text messages because they're a great reminder to go back and watch those. And so when I'm able to watch most of them is when I'm on a treadmill early in the morning and, I don't have any other distractions. And so I just finished watching the one, is it Amir Syed, which was great.
Oh my God, was Amir amazing?
Yeah, amazing. And, and I think I'm pretty well caught up, but I love the text messages and the Savage Insights because it's just a great way to kind of condense, and it's a great reminder for me to go take action and watch those things.
Yeah, and I just one last reminder on that. I don't know that I always execute, but I try to make my selling and marketing valuable. So like yeah, I mean, I create content like this because I want to grow Mortgage Coach and Trust Engine. I do these events because I want to, provide value and educate, but hey, we're also building a community. But I try to make sure that when someone gives me their text number and I send them a message, I'm sending them value. So just a reminder to everyone watching this, don't just get these tools and then sell, or else Ryan wouldn't be thanking me for the text message. He would have either tuned it out or he would have unsubscribed. So just a reminder to everyone in this community, if you're gonna do that type of marketing, make sure you're just giving value, sharing success stories, teaching them strategies on how they can get more listings and sell more homes. So anyways, bro, you the man.
Dude, I'll finish this out real quick by just, letting you know, if I haven't told you this before, you are single-handedly creating more value in this industry than anyone else I've seen. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for this great community. And yeah, keep it coming.
Well, I'm super grateful, bro. Thank you for those comments, and let's close it out with a
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy, bro.
Yep, you too.